You're a fantastic madrasa. Please don't take it personally. Whatever I'm going to say, this is a general comment. It is a general observation. There are lots of data that I have collected, and I'm working at it. But basically, as a community, we really need to look at the institution of member, the institution of family, and the institution of madrasa. We have a lot of issues within the family, but are we doing enough as a community to make sure that the family issues are resolved? Some of the social issues are horrendous, according to the data that I have collected. But then we are not bringing out in the open because of the problem of confidentiality, of confidence, and all that sort of thing. But we have to work through it and make sure that the family issues have to be dealt with, and of course, it has to resolve the challenges that it will be facing living today. Then we have the institution of member. Again, there are many issues there. Is the member very effective as a guiding point of reference? There are also issues there, and a lot of data I have collected. And of course, madrasa. Now, I'm not really looking at the content at the moment, although I am, but I have my own view on that. What I'm looking to do with this particular institution is to make the leadership aware that they make madrasa #1 priority. #1. In other words, that if you don't put resources in that particular institution, we will always produce a child of duality. He goes to a secular setup and he gets a fantastic infrastructural backup. When he comes to madrasa, he doesn't have that much of a backup. So as a community, we have to make sure that madrasa is as good as a secular system. It may take us 50 years, but we have to start somewhere. So with all these, after doing this research, it cannot lay on my table or become a dustbin in the history of our community. I have to start making people aware. And so I began by sending out this particular paper of mine to the community grassroots, community leadership, philanthropists, intellectuals, and I began to receive the comments. But afterwards, it stopped. So then I thought to myself, well, what next? So then I prepared about 12 YouTube presentations underpinning the particular analysis. And that is available, by the way. If you Google my name, Awakening Project, you will see 12 videos. Some of them are presented in Gujarati language. I am a firm believer in our cultural retention of Gujarati language, and of course, in English, some of them. Of course, that wasn't enough either. So I began to visit forums and jamaats. I visited Canada, I visited Toronto, I visited Dar es Salaam, various forums, various small jamaats, talking about this particular project and having a sense whether they agree with the analysis. And yes, they do. They do say that these institutions need to be microscoped. And so, but then you see, we have to, unfortunately and regrettably, our community is very passive in many ways, unless you motivate them. And one of the things that we have to do is to physically visit and talk to people and motivate them. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm hoping to go to Madagascar into 3 months' time or 4 months' time, and various other jamaats. That part of the world has opened up as well. I'm talking about the Gujarati-speaking world to this particular project. So inshallah, I'll be going there as well. Yes, the next stage, the next step that I took was the survey. And I must say, I got fantastic response. I have about 400 comments that I'm shifting through. There are various DVDs where I've received oral comments. I'm shifting through this data, and I'm hoping to produce a document of change and direction. But then what? So the next stage would, of course, be implementation. And for implementation, if I don't have the support from particularly groups like yourselves, if you identify, if this makes sense to you, and if I have your support, then I think that together we can change the community for the better. And we can provide that stability for our children, stability for the generations to come. So I'm looking really for the support. Why yourselves? Because you are the frontline workers. You work at the cold face of the community. There are leadership, of course, we are dealing with other problems, but you deal with the cold face of the problem. And you understand what your difficulties are. And you can respond to by giving your comments. You can respond to me by giving your thought processes, but also you can support me. And I'm basically here to ask for your support, because you understand how important madrasa is. And if we put the right infrastructure in the madrasa for the next 10 years, to really build it to an institution of worth, and I'll talk about it later on as well, you will see how important it becomes for our community, inshallah.